one shot on target, but it doesn't matter when your big players step up and make it count.
Yeah, they certainly weren't at their best tonight, but as you say, Gabby, the big players were involved in everything positive for them. Sekou Correa getting caught up high. Buemo, he's a leader of this line, isn't he, when he really wants to, gets his head down, bursting in behind. And this was a chance. This is one of their very few chances, but especially in the first half, we've highlighted Cunha arriving from that left-hand side. It's actually a really good pass, but it's a heavy touch. We actually held our breath in the studio. We thought we'd nailed him, but he hadn't, which allowed him to play on. Fernandes, he's been absolutely instrumental. Man United's most important player, deals with Garnacho, gets the ball in. Šeško just deals with Caicedo in the middle, and that is a brilliant finish from Cunha. Absolutely superb. That's a big game player right there.
And they've got a bit of a centre-back crisis, so for Aidan Heaven, this is an opportunity as much for him, isn't it, to impress his manager, and he did. Yeah,
really good today. We watched Lenny Yoro and Martinez get bullied on Monday by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. This boy comes in, he's only 19 years old, and he had an excellent game. You can see straight away in this first clip what he's all about. Bang, big tackle, lets Delap know that he's there and he's in the game. Again here, senses danger, quick across the ground, clears the danger straight away. In possession, can start attacks also. That's a great pass through lines, gets his team going. And then all game he did things like this, just getting himself in between a shot and the goal, which is so important. And sometimes today I think defenders are so caught up on what they do in possession, they don't concentrate on bits like this that get your team a clean sheet, which seems simple, but it's not. His body shape's great, he knows where the striker is, he knows where the ball's coming in, clears the danger, and big praise from his manager. I thought he was excellent today.
A little wobble on Monday, but they're now 10 points clear of Chelsea in that hunt for a Champions League place, and it's looking very good for them for next season.
Yeah, that was a really big result. I don't think they saw Monday night coming. I think that shocked them. You know, obviously they've been such a positive vein of form since Michael's come in. But that was a big victory, and as Ash was talking about there, it was a proper hard-working victory. They had one chance, really, and they took it. They'll be absolutely delighted with that.
Well, as for Chelsea, their last 10 results don't make very good reading, do they, for Liam Rosenior there? So you've got 3 wins, and 2 of those were against lower league opposition in the FA Cup. So just that one Premier League win. The ownership has said, we think we are behind Liam. Of course, it's a results business, but we think he can be successful long-term, Joe.
Yeah, I think those quotes sum Chelsea up at the moment. There's a lot of unrest. There was a protest before the game today. Rosenior started so positives, plenty of W's next to his name, but over recent times, that's not what Chelsea will want. They're not the results that they're in this business for. And they're right on the edge of this kind of Champions League spots at the moment, but they've got an FA Cup opportunity, but that's not good enough for Chelsea.
Yeah, we talked about that being an opportunity for Leeds. For Chelsea, it puts a very different gloss, doesn't it, over the season? It's almost a necessity.
Yeah, it seems like a must-win trophy for them to make the season look a little bit better than it does, because they want to be fighting in the the right at the very top of the Premier League, and they're not at the minute.
As well to Chelsea's chances of Champions League, Joe, what do you think that does to their chances of qualifying now?
It makes it very, very thin. They're going to try and hunt down Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool losing Ekitike, you know, how are they going to finish the season? But you know, I think the telling one is the 4 defeats in a row, not scoring a goal, without scoring a goal, and since '93. So that's a little. You know, that's where we're at the moment. You know, and they got to get through. They got to stick together, get through this tough period. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong at the club. There is. You're spending a lot of money, you know, and it's just if you don't spend it in the right places at the right time, with the right reasons and cause, you're going to end up with a lopsided squad. We were talking, and we said about, you know, there's nothing wrong with the performance today. The goalkeeper made a little error, and we wasn't clinical. The centre forward wasn't good. But the margins at this level are so small. So you have to do everything right. And at the moment, the club's, you know, just fallen from what we expected. So it's very tough.
Do you think they're in danger now of missing out on European football altogether, Owen?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, even up to 12. You know, the gap is so tight from 6 to 12, and they've got a really difficult run in Chelsea. And you know, and as you said, they're not really scoring goals. You know, I think in these moments you need leadership. You look at Bruno Fernandes today. That's what you get. You get leadership. Obviously, you get quality, 19 assists, but you get leadership in difficult moments. That's when you know players. You need people when you're struggling. Young players are the best when you're cruising. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no real adversity. But I think sometimes the young lads need somebody to lean on when you're struggling. And you think about some of the issues Chelsea have had. Chelsea were good today, actually played all right. But in the crucial moments, they didn't defend well enough. And at the top of the pitch, they didn't really finish the chances off. I think they hit the post 3 times. So it's the easiest fix, this. It's just get a bit of experience, sort the goalkeeping position out, get a couple experienced centre-backs. The rest of the team, actually, I think they've signed some great players. But you look at Man United with Bruno Fernandes, you look at, you need a Marquinhos or a Bastoni or a Van Dijk, somebody of that ilk to help these young lads, because actually a lot of it is actually okay, but they need some experience to rely on when it's difficult.
They certainly had the best of the early exchanges in that first half, but then Manchester United went and scored with their first shot on target, their only shot on target tonight, Joe. But Wesley Fofana was off the pitch at the time, dealing with
Chelsea. They wouldn't have brought him in. He's not the type of guy that would have been brought in if they're not looking for something, which is unusual for Chelsea, because it's fire. If they're not doing it, fire somebody who then goes on and gets trophies. So I think this one, I think Liam will be given to the end of the season, whether they're in the Champions League or not. I think how they finish, they've got to finish the season much better than that run now. If they finish on a front foot, and even if they just miss out on it, I think he'll start next season. But next season, he's got to be on the front foot. He's got to have a flyer to the start of the season next year. If not, then I think he'll be in trouble.
We have seconds left. Does he go for you or does he stay? Rosenia, does he go or does he stay? We've like 20 seconds left.
Well, I have no idea what the plan with him is, but going by what Glenn is saying and what Chelsea normally does, he's probably going.
Well, guys, we are fresh out of time on Premier League Live for Saturday action. The cracking Saturday is on the way, but from myself, Glenn and Peter, thank you for joining us. Good night. Huge result for Manchester United. What that means is they are 10 points clear of Chelsea with 15 points left to play for. Do you think that's job done in Champions League chase?
I'd be very, very surprised if it wasn't. I said before the game when we did it live earlier on today, I said that a point there would be fantastic because that would keep that distance to the 5th place qualifiers for the Champions League. But a win, I mean, the gap is now 10 points. I'd be very surprised if they give that away. No, they're not going to give that away.
No, they're not.
They're not. Yes, they are in the Champions League, which is brilliant.
Big result for Manchester United. Great goal as well. Let's take a closer look at it because Liam Rosenia said from a Chelsea perspective that they switched off here. You agree?
Yeah, a little bit, but it was well carved out. It was a nice little blindside run from Fernandes, who was the best player for United by a mile. Gets to the byline, has a little glance, and look, it's a great finish. It really is, because he's coming in round about that penalty spot. It's not a great ball in. Look, it's bobbling a bit, it's bouncing up, but this is a fabulous technique on the half volley. And in slow motion, that looks really easy, but it's not. It's on the way. The ball wants to come up high, and he smothers it and times it beautifully. He just missed the chance, actually, similar to that before. And that's the player that he is. He doesn't have to be at a top level playing at his very best to turn out and do something like that. He's a sort of player that can just make the difference, can't he, Peter? Yeah. And, that's the difference between the two teams. Chelsea were the better team overall. But United, I think, Michael Carrick said it there, he liked the way second half they saw out the game, and it was very professional.
Yeah, that goal and that result celebrated not only in the away and not only in Manchester, but around the world. These are scenes from Tampa Bay out in Florida for Premier League Mornings Live with NBC. Look at that crowd.
Oh, brilliant, isn't it? So Tampa Bay, so I'm just wondering if any of the Glazer families, that's where they live, isn't it? That's where they're from. If they attended that, but that's brilliant to see. That's really, really nice. Because it's been one of those periods, a very, very long period for Manchester United where the results not been great, and you're kind of thinking, how are we as a football club? How are we producing new fans? Because we're not delivered anything that's sort of inspiring a kid. But then you see stuff like that, and the power of the brand is still there. It makes me. That's another thing that makes me very happy, by the way.
Yeah, I think you have lots of reasons to be happy. I haven't seen you smile. I've known you for some time now.
Today was a good day. Today was a really, really good day for Manchester United, because obviously what happened on Monday night when they lost to Leeds, you kind of think that we got exposed for the lack of depth in the squad. I think that was Monday night for sure. And then you look at how the lineup, the forced lineup, the back four, was today, where you got 4 centre halves out with either suspended or injured. Yeah. And you come away with a clean sheet, and it's one of those things. It gives you so much hope as a fan that we are on the right track. And Michael Carrick's done a fantastic job, and I cross my fingers for he gets a job on a permanent basis, because what he's doing is he's actually creating a Manchester United team, and that's what we've been hoping for a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah, Carrick's reign so far emphasised by the fact that he's played players in their preferred positions or their best positions. No one is a better example of this than Bruno Fernandes. And his assist for that Cunha goal takes him to 18 in the season. He is just too shy of the all-time record of 20. Do we doubt at all that he will get it?
Well, 5 games left. I think he'll go past that. I really do. I think he's playing in a position where he wants to play. He's involved. He comes up with goals from that position. He's playing just behind the striker, and he's allowed to go and play. He's protected by 2 midfield players behind him. That is exactly where he should be playing. And Amorim didn't see it like that. He played him deeper, and I used to scratch my head and think, well, you're never going to get the best out of Fernandes, who's your best player. If you've got a best player, a special player, play him in the right position. Number 1, and then pick the team around him and have your spine. But if you've got a player that's going to make the difference, play him in the right position, and then build the team around him. And that's what Michael's done. And I'm with Peter. I think they should. I think they should give him the job now. I really do. I think they've got the Champions League spot. Got a few more points to get, obviously, but I think he deserves it with what he's shown when he came in, the way they were playing, and the results they were getting. He's absolutely spun it round tremendously well.
Can I add one thing about Bruno's record there? Not record. He has already surpassed the club record, which was held by David Beckham. You think about David Beckham's number of assists, he's passed that. So that's fantastic.
And that's in a team that have been struggling for a while, like you said. David was playing
out of position.
Fabulous team, and creating. So fair dues.
Staying with that theme of teams who are struggling, that's Chelsea right now. Let's look at their last couple of results, and only 1 win in the last 7 in all competitions. Where are they? Where's Liam Rosenior?
Yeah, Chelsea fans look away for that. Look at that, 6 losses and a win of 7-0 against Port Vale, obviously in the cup. Yeah, they're in a really sticky position. They've got to, for Liam to stay in that job now to the end of the season. I think they'll give him that opportunity, but he's got to finish on a high note. He's got to get some wins under his belt. I think the reason they brought him in, he's a young manager. He's a part of their project, if you like, if you want to use that word. And I think they'll give him that chance. But he's going to have to start whatever, even if he doesn't get in the Champions League. They're in the FA Cup semi-finals, so they could actually get a trophy still. But I think they'll start with him. They'll stay with him and give him a pre-season, and I think they'll start with him. But he's going to